Warriors are hoping Jimmy Butler will be back on the muscle contusion he suffered after that hard fall in Game 2. Without Butler, Stephen Curry carried the load for Golden State, scoring 36 points in Saturday's Game 3 victory. Reporter Om Youngmasuk joins us now live. So, what more can you tell us about Jimmy Butler's status for tonight?
Well, the Warriors just went through a very light walkthrough at shoot-around, and Jimmy Butler participated. I asked Ricky Quinton Post, how did he look? He said he looked great. He is listed as questionable, so of course he's trending in the right direction. When I talked to Steph Curry after Game 3, I said, what did you learn about this team winning in a playoff type of situation without Jimmy Butler? He said, we learned that we can do this without Jimmy. We have several guys that can step up, but we need 14 more of these.
Bucket in Game 3. What are Steph and his teammates saying about how he's feeling with the load he's had to carry on offense?
Well, certainly this is where Steph's elite training and conditioning comes through, not just because of all the constant running that he does, but in order to have the strength to fight through the hugging, the tugging, the grabbing that this Houston Rockets defense is doing to Steph Curry. The Warriors are very complimentary about it, saying, listen, this defense is built in the mode of Ime Udoka and how he played as a player. But certainly Steph has to fight through this physicality. He's not taking anything for granted. I recently talked to Steph about how he told Draymond Green moments after the trade for Jimmy Butler that this is it. This is the last ride. Draymond told me tears were trickling down Stephen Curry's face because they understood the gravity of the moment. And when I say last ride, that doesn't mean that this particular postseason's last ride, but this is the beginning. All three stars contracts are aligned for 2 more years. And Steph says, look, me and Draymond, we've been through it all through 13 years. We just want to recreate that championship magic again. And now they have playoff Jimmy to help them do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're definitely on the back end of their career. All right, I want to talk a little bit about you because for people that don't know, you're a huge sneakerhead. Can you give us a sneak peek at what you'll be wearing on your feet tonight?
It's Game 4, so I had to pull out some Jordan 4s oxidized for this game.
Beautiful. Wears a different sneaker every
Do you approve?
Game. Exactly, I do. It looks really good. I wanted to be surprised by it. It looks really good. I love the 4s. Great choice for tonight's game. Thank you.
That is just basic. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
All right.
Tyler Fulgham here with us. Let's keep things Rockets Warriors. What are you going to be looking at tonight?
I'm going to be looking at a trend that we've seen in this series has been about defense, Matt Barry. We know the Rockets play great defense. Even without Jimmy Butler, the Warriors have played good defense. All 3 games have gone under the total. Now, Game 1, total was 213.5. That game went well under, so the books adjusted. It's been 204.5 for Game 2 and 3. We still haven't gotten to 205 points in this series. So now we're down at 202.5. But based on what Ohm said there with Jimmy Butler, I think looking like he's going to play, now might be the time to go with an over. I think we see our first over of the series in Game 4.
I don't like not cheering for points. I like cheering for points. I want to shoot out. I also want to stay out west. Lakers, win or go home, Game 5. What have you seen about the betting market heading into this one?
All right, early, still time before we see this game tip off on Wednesday. But right now, 55% of the bets at ESPN Bet are on the Timberwolves. So the public seems to like the T-Wolves side. Why not? They're up 3-1. However, look at that. 70%, Matt Barry, of the money is on the Lakers. And why is that important? That means despite getting less bets, the higher value bets.
The sharps.
The sharps. The guys who are betting 4 figures, 5 figures, because they can afford to do so, because they're sharps, they're pros. They're putting on the Lakers. Lakers in a desperate spot. They're at home, need to extend the series. They're a 5.5-point favorite. The market is expecting, the sharps are expecting the Lakers to win Game 5.
The sharps. That's how you go on vacation in the Maldives for so long.
Hey, by the way, thanks for hosting Bet Live.
I picked up the slack.
I barely asked.
The Detroit Pistons. Jack, our producer Jack didn't want to talk about the Knicks because he's a hater. He only likes to talk about the Knicks when they're losing.
Okay.
But he doesn't want to acknowledge them when they're winning.
So do you have any words for producer Jack that you can get out of the way in like 30 seconds?
I'll visit him when we see the Boston Celtics. Don't worry. We'll have our moment.
I mean, Magic in 7. You can't be saying that, Ashley. You never know. You never know. I'm just kidding. All right, let's talk about the Lakers now on the brink of elimination here as they're facing the Timberwolves. And there's only a select amount of teams, and it's not many, 13 that have come back from being down 3-1 in a best-of-7 series. Are Luka and LeBron doing enough? Are they enough to surmount some crazy comeback here against Anthony Edwards and the way that he's playing in the Timberwolves?
Okay, so if Luka and LeBron, they're enough as individuals, they're enough as a tandem, the team's just not enough, right? And this was kind of the concern when the Lakers were formed together that, as dominant as Luka and LeBron are and can be and are and will be, it's just not enough when you talk about a 7-game series, especially when you're talking about a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves who have a lot of talent. There's a lot there to work with on any given night. And when you look at what the Lakers did or what they didn't do, they only made 5 of their 18 shots in the final quarter, and they got out rebounded 13-9 and then had costly turnovers. But it's what's actually interesting to me is JJ Redick took a play out of Tom Thibodeau's handbook and refused to make any substitutions at halftime. I don't know if it's that he just didn't trust what was
Starters
available.
were playing the entire second half.
The entire second half. It marks the first time any coach has done that in a playoff game in the NBA since the 1997 postseason. So for all the people who are coming at Tibbs' neck, at least he doesn't have that record on his resume. But it just goes to show how thin this roster is and how unreliable this roster is outside of LeBron and Luka not having the freedom to make those substitutions and not having the trust in those substitutions, which is a direct contrast to what Minnesota is able to do. We know what Julius Randle's going to bring. We know what Anthony Edwards is going to bring. But then you have Dante DiVincenzo. You have Naz Reid. You have Jaden McDaniels, who had a stellar night last night and has had a great just performance all through these playoffs. It's just hard to compete when you can't compete with that.
And really quickly, before we move on to Milwaukee in the Dame situation, if this is a first-round exit for this Lakers squad with Luka and LeBron, how much does that change the trajectory of what we see from LeBron James, who's 40, going to be over 40, I guess, at the end of this season? Does he stick around? What do you think?
I think if LeBron was going to retire, we'd have a whole retirement goodbye tour. He's coming back.
Okay.
but what I can guarantee you is that when the Lakers get eliminated, because it is going to happen, it's just a matter of whether it's in game 5, 6, or it's happening, right? He'll breadcrumb. I don't know. I got to make a decision. I got to think about it. I've been playing basketball for a really long time, and he's coming back.
Okay. All that to say, he's coming back. All right, let's go to the Bucks. Not great news for Milwaukee here because Dame suffers a non-contact injury. There's multiple reports out there saying it's an Achilles issue. Doc Rivers is saying this is not good. It feels like it's a wrap for Milwaukee in the playoffs, but what do you think this means for Giannis as well moving forward? Is he going to finally request a trade out of Milwaukee? I know Bucks fans, that's a real sensitive topic and they don't want to talk about it, but
yeah, they hate me too, so this is great.
Okay, what does it mean for Giannis?
Well, first, this is horrible for Dame. To come back from the blood clot situation and first and foremost, glad that situation's under control. That's nothing to play with. And then this injury, when I saw it, I immediately knew. Doc Rivers even said he knew. It's just one of those injuries when you see it enough, you kind of know what it is when you see it. You just hold out hope that you're wrong. So I wish him the best in his recovery. This is just absolutely horrible to see. But in terms of the Bucks, they're done. In terms of Giannis, Milwaukee fans already hate me, so let's just pile this on. I would not be surprised if he doesn't request out of Milwaukee. Here's the thing. It's gone through so many changes to try to get back to the championship. You got rid of Adrian Griffin. You hired Doc Rivers. You got rid of Drew Holiday. You brought in Damian Lillard. You brought in Kyle Kuzma. You brought in all these other pieces to try to make a run, and you're getting bounced in the first round. If you're Giannis, you're young enough where you can still win. You're dominant enough where you can still win. We're talking about someone who's top 3 in MVP voting right now, in top 3 in candidates.
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you liked the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we noticed that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.